Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into one of the most foundational stories ever told. It's a narrative that kicks off with the creation of, well, everything, zooms into a perfect paradise, and then pivots on a single, critical choice that changed the course of human destiny forever. So, it all starts with this massive, iconic line. The source tells us the Earth was originally without form and void. Just think about that for a second. A dark, chaotic, empty nothingness. This one sentence really sets the stage for order being brought out of total chaos.
All right, so let's dive into the first act of this story, this incredibly structured, almost step-by-step process of building a world and taking it from that empty void to a place that's declared absolutely perfect.
The whole thing is laid out like a meticulous 7-day project. It's not random at all. It builds layer by layer. First comes light, to split day from night. Then you get the sky, the land, the plants, the sun and moon for seasons, and then finally, the world is filled with all kinds of living creatures. Okay, so day 6 is where we hit what's presented as the absolute peak of all this creative work, humanity. The source text really zeroes in on this, saying, "Let us make man in our image," which totally sets them apart from everything that was created before. And this phrase right here, this is a huge deal. See, after the previous days, things were called good, but it's only after humanity shows up on the scene that the entire project gets an upgrade to very good. It's like the final stamp of approval, signaling that everything is perfect, complete, and ready for the 7th day of rest. Okay, so now the camera, so to speak, zooms in. We go from this huge cosmic scale right down to one very specific place, humanity's first home. And this is where we get the one big, crucial rule they had to follow. So now we get a second, more personal account of man's creation. It's pretty poetic, right? Formed from the very dust of the earth, and then life is literally breathed into him. And he's not just dropped anywhere. He's placed in the Garden of Eden, this perfect spot that's all ready for him to tend and keep. Now, right in the middle of this amazing garden, the source calls out 2 very specific trees. There's the tree of life, sure, but the one that's about to become the center of everything, that's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's the one with the forbidden fruit, and it becomes the focal point of the whole story. And here it is, the one rule. It's not some long, complicated list of do's and don'ts. It's a single, super clear boundary. Think about the incredible freedom. You can eat from every single tree, except this one. It's a clear line in the sand, and the warning that comes with it is, well, it's about as severe as it gets. Then the story points out a problem. In this world that was just declared very good, there's suddenly one thing that's labeled not good. The man is all alone. The solution described is the creation of a woman, a companion for him, who is formed from one of his own ribs. And this is where everything changes. An outsider shows up in paradise, and their goal isn't just to get them to break the rule, but to completely undermine the entire reason the rule existed in the first place. This is the big turning point. So, our antagonist enters the scene, and the text is super specific about its number one trait. It is cunning. It's not the strongest or the biggest beast, but it is the cleverest, the most subtle, and as we're about to see, that's exactly how it operates. Okay, pay close attention to how this starts. The serpent doesn't come in hot with a command or a threat. It just asks a question. But what a question it is. Did God really say? It cleverly twists God's one restriction to make it sound like a total ban, planting that first little seed of doubt. And then comes the direct deception. First, a flat-out contradiction of God's warning, "You will not surely die." Then it offers this incredibly tempting motive. The serpent basically says, God isn't protecting you. He's holding you back. He knows this fruit will make you just like him. What a pitch, right? And just like that, the choice is made. The text breaks it down step by painful step. The woman sees the tree, she desires the wisdom it promises, and then she acts. She takes the fruit and eats. Then she gives some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. That's it. The boundary is broken. So what happens next? Well, it's not physical death, not immediately anyway. Instead, it's a complete shift in their awareness. Their eyes are opened, and they suddenly see themselves in a new way. And this new knowledge doesn't bring power. It brings shame. It brings fear. So much fear that their first instinct is to hide from the very God they used to walk with. And that brings us to the final act of the story, Paradise Lost. This is all about the fallout, the confrontation, the consequences, and the final, irreversible expulsion from the garden. So, what happens when they get called out? The blame game begins. The man immediately points the finger at the woman. And, kind of a god too, right? The woman you gave to be with me. And the woman, she in turn blames the serpent. It's a masterclass in shifting responsibility. Okay, so now come the consequences, and they are specific and long-lasting for everyone involved. The serpent is cursed. For the woman, life will now include pain and childbirth. And for the man, his whole relationship with the earth is changed forever. No more effortless gardening. From now on, it's hard labor and struggle just to get food. You might be wondering, why kick them out? Why not just punish them and let them stay? Well, the text gives a pretty direct reason. It was to prevent them from getting to the other tree, the tree of life, and living forever in this new, fallen state. And with that, it's official. Paradise is lost. Their entire reality has been flipped upside down. The easy work of tending a perfect garden is gone, replaced by the difficult labor of toiling a cursed ground, the very same dust from which the man was made. And just to make it absolutely clear that there's no going back, check out this final image. We're talking about powerful angelic beings, cherubim, and a flaming sword guarding the entrance to the garden. The message couldn't be clearer. The way back is closed. Permanently. And so, the story leaves us right here, with this profound, world-altering shift. They went from a state of simple, innocent obedience to a much more difficult, complicated existence where they now know good and evil. And it leaves you with this timeless question, doesn't it? When knowledge is gained, but innocence is lost, what is the true cost of that choice?